At 73, George Strait finally tells the truth about Toby Keith. George Strait was born George Harvey Strait on May 18, 1952 in Poteet, Texas. Strait grew up in the countryside, and this would later help make his music feel real and easy to relate to. His early life in Texas, surrounded by wide open spaces, working-class values, and traditional Southern culture, gave him the foundation for the themes he would sing about in his songs: love, heartbreak, family, and the simple pleasures of life. From a young age, Strait showed a natural talent for music. His family encouraged him, and he learned to play the guitar and began singing in school and at local places, building the skills that would eventually make him a country music legend. Strait's journey to fame started small. After serving in the United States Army in the early 1970s, where he kept performing music during his service, he came back to Texas with a fresh focus on a music career. He went to Texas A&I University, studying agriculture, but music was his true calling. Strait started performing with local bands, slowly building a reputation for his smooth, deep voice and traditional country style, which made him stand out in a genre that was starting to explore more pop-sounding music. His early performances in honky-tonks and small Texas clubs helped him get better on stage and build a devoted local following. In 1981, George Strait released his first single, Unwound, which quickly climbed the country charts and announced the arrival of a new star in the country music scene. This success was followed by his first album, Strait Country, which showed his commitment to classic country sounds while hinting at a fresh modern feel. What made Strait different from other artists was his commitment to traditional country music. Even as the genre went through big changes in the 1980s and 1990s, while others experimented with pop crossover hits, Strait stayed true to delivering music rooted in storytelling, emotional authenticity, and timeless country instruments. Over the course of his career, George Strait has achieved unmatched success with over 60 number-one hits on the Billboard Hot Country Songs charts. He holds a record for more number-one singles than any other artist in any genre. His collection of albums includes dozens of critically acclaimed records from Straight from the Heart to Pure Country to Honky Tonkville, each solidifying his reputation as a master of the country form. Beyond chart success, his influence reshaped the country music landscape, inspiring countless artists from Alan Jackson to Kenny Chesney to embrace the storytelling and simplicity that define Strait's approach. George Strait's live performances have also been legendary. Known for his modest behavior on stage, he lets his music do the talking, earning him the admiration of fans worldwide. His sold-out tours, including the historic Cowboy Rides Away tour in 2014, showed not only his enduring popularity, but also his ability to connect deeply with audiences. Despite his superstar status, Strait has remained remarkably humble and private, allowing his work to shine rather than seeking personal fame or media attention. In addition to his music, Strait has been recognized for his contributions to charitable causes, particularly those benefiting military veterans and children's hospitals, reflecting the deep sense of community and responsibility that he carries with him offstage. He has also tried acting, most notably starring in the 1992 film Pure Country, which showcased both his acting ability and the emotional power of his music. George Strait's legacy is huge. He has won 22 Country Music Association, CMA, awards, 3 Grammy Awards, and numerous Academy of Country Music, ACM, awards, including the coveted Entertainer of the Year title multiple times. In 2006, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, cementing his status as one of the greatest and most influential artists of all time. His music remains timeless, resonating with generations of fans who find comfort, joy, and reflection in his songs. In the late 2000s, George Strait, the undisputed king of country, continued to lead his mark on the music world with the release of albums like Cold Beer Conversation in 2015 and Honky Tonk Time Machine in 2019. These records showcase Strait's signature blend of heartfelt storytelling, timeless melodies, and the kind of classic country authenticity that has defined his career for decades. While neither album reached the unprecedented commercial heights of some of his earlier releases, both were warmly received by critics and fans alike, reinforcing Strait's reputation as a masterful songwriter and performer who could still deliver songs that resonated deeply with audiences across generations. Tracks from these albums range from the thoughtful and tender to the lively honky-tonk numbers that reminded listeners why George Strait has remained a pillar of country music for more than 4 decades. In January 2013, Strait started what would become a historic farewell to touring with his Cowboy Rides Away tour, split into 2 highly anticipated parts. This tour drew massive crowds across the country and became a cultural milestone in its own right. The shows were made even more memorable by a lineup of well-known country singers who took the stage as opening acts, creating an unforgettable celebration of the genre and the enduring influence of George Strait himself. One particular performance set a record for the largest gross at a single-show country concert, showing the unmatched drawing power of a true music legend. For longtime fans and new listeners alike, the tour was not just a series of concerts. It was a heartfelt, once-in-a-lifetime tribute to a career that had defined the very essence of country music, giving fans one last chance to witness the magic of George Strait live on stage. George Strait, the king of country, married his high school sweetheart, Norma Voss, in 1971, beginning a lifelong partnership that would endure both personal triumphs and tragedies. Their relationship, rooted in the innocence of teenage love, was one of mutual respect, shared dreams, and a deep connection that would sustain them through decades of life in the spotlight. Despite the pressures of fame that often challenge personal relationships, George and Norma's bond remained remarkably strong, and their marriage became a model of stability in the often turbulent world of country music. The couple shared a love that was both private and profound, carefully balancing the demands of George's growing career with their commitment to family life. Together, George and Norma had 2 children, a daughter, Jennifer, and a son, George Bubba Strait Jr. Their children were raised in the same Texas values and traditions that had shaped George's own upbringing, enjoying a childhood that combined the normalcy of small-town life with the extraordinary experiences that came from having a legendary musician as a father. The family often emphasized the importance of love, faith, and hard work, values that George consistently highlighted in interviews and through his music. In 2012, George and Norma embraced the joy of becoming grandparents, a milestone that brought even more warmth and happiness into their lives. The arrival of a grandchild was a celebration of family continuity, legacy, and a passing down of love and values to the next generation. However, the Strait family's life was also marked by deep tragedy. Their daughter, Jennifer Lynn Strait, passed away in a heartbreaking accident at the tender age of 13. The loss devastated George and Norma, who were forced to endure the unimaginable pain of losing a child. In the face of this personal tragedy, the Straits showed remarkable strength, transforming their grief into a source of hope and support for others. In honor of Jennifer's memory, they established the Jennifer Lynn Strait Foundation, a charitable organization dedicated to supporting children in need. The foundation serves as a living tribute to Jennifer, ensuring that her memory will continue to positively impact the lives of others. Over the years, the foundation has donated money to a variety of children's charities, supporting education, healthcare, and programs that improve the lives of young people. Through this work, George and Norma channeled their sorrow into action, showing how personal loss can inspire compassion, generosity, and meaningful change in the community. The story of George Strait's family life is a testament not only to enduring love and devotion, but also to resilience, compassion, and the enduring power of turning personal tragedy into a force for good. His marriage to Norma, the joys of raising their children, the heartbreak of Jennifer's passing, and their charitable efforts all reflect a deeply human side of a man often celebrated for his musical achievements. These experiences remind fans and admirers that behind the accolades, the sold-out concerts, and the chart-topping hits, George Strait has lived a life shaped by the same joys, sorrows, and enduring love that define the human experience. At 73, George Strait, the legendary king of country, finally spoke openly about fellow country music superstar Toby Keith, ending decades of speculation and rumors in the process. Known for his signature smooth voice, perfect phrasing, and unmatched ability to connect with audiences, Strait has always been a man of discretion, letting his music speak for him rather than engaging in public fights or gossip. But in a recent interview, he chose to address the long-standing tension between himself and Keith, revealing truths that fans had long wondered about. "I've been asked about Toby for years, and honestly, I never felt the need to comment before," Strait said, his tone calm but firm. But now, at this stage in my life and career, I think it's important to set the record straight and speak from the heart. George Strait's remarks came as a surprise to many because he has built a reputation as one of country music's most professional, respectful, and private figures. Unlike some of his peers, Strait rarely gets involved in controversies, preferring to focus on his music, his family, and his charitable work. Yet his measured comment about Toby Keith revealed a depth of insight into the music industry, the pressures of fame, and the complexities of personal relationships within the country music community. Toby is a talented guy, no doubt about it, Strait stated. He's had a tremendous career, and he's worked hard to get where he is. I respect that, but we're different people with different approaches, and sometimes that leads to misunderstandings or wrong perceptions. Strait's reflection is notable because Toby Keith is one of the most outspoken and sometimes controversial figures in modern country music. Keith, known for hits like Should Have Been a Cowboy and Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, has a persona that is bold, patriotic, and unapologetically confident, which contrasts sharply with Strait's understated traditional style. I think people expected me to have a lot to say about Toby, to weigh in on his actions or decisions over the years. Strait said, "But the truth is, most of what people think they know isn't the whole story. We've crossed paths many times, and while we may not always see eye to eye, I never held grudges and I never wanted to make it personal. Music is bigger than any one of us." Strait went further, discussing how the pressures of fame and the competitive nature of the industry can sometimes create unnecessary friction. When you're in this business for as long as we have, you see how easy it is for stories to get twisted or for rivalries to be exaggerated, he explained. I've seen young artists come in full of energy and fire, and sometimes the media or the public interprets that as conflict when it's really just passion or ambition. Toby is one of those guys. He's passionate, he's ambitious, and he's never been afraid to speak his mind. That doesn't mean we're enemies. For fans, Strait's candid reflections are a rare glimpse into the dynamics of the country music world behind the scenes. I think people forget that we're all human, he said. We all have personalities, and we all make choices that others might not understand. Toby has his way of doing things. I have mine, and that's okay. At the end of the day, we're both trying to entertain people, to make music that matters, and honor the fans who have supported us for decades. Strait also spoke about the mutual respect that exists even when public perception may suggest otherwise. I have always respected what Toby brings to the table, he said. He has a voice, a presence, and a connection with the audience that is undeniable. I admire that. It's easy for people to get caught up in who is bigger or who is more controversial. But the truth is there's room for everyone in country music. I've always believed in letting talent and dedication speak louder than headlines. In the interview, Strait reflected on how age and experience have influenced his perspective. When you get to be 73, you realize a lot of things matter less than you thought, he said. I've learned to focus on my family, my music, and the legacy I want to leave behind. That means letting go of grudges, letting go of petty comparisons, and being honest about people for what they really are, not what rumors or stories suggest. Toby is a professional, and I respect that. It's really that simple. Finally, Strait's revelation underscores the importance of context and nuance in understanding public figures. I hope people take from this that we shouldn't jump to conclusions about others, he concluded. We all have different paths, different challenges, and different ways of expressing ourselves. Toby has his, I have mine, and at the end of the day, it's all about the music and the fans. That's what unites us more than anything else.